Hey guys, this is John Cannon, and in this video today I'm going to tell you what are the pros and cons of selling your house for cash. So let's go ahead and jump right into it. The first thing for selling your house for cash is you can sell it as is, where is, and there's absolutely zero warranties with that. Basically what that means is you can sell your house without having to dump another dime into it, and you can walk away without having to make a single repair to the house. Sometimes, the repairs can be very costly, especially roofs and kitchens and so on and so forth, being updated and all that. Uh, and if you don't have the money to do something like that, it would be much easier just to sell it, as is for cash. And of course, there's no warranties with it. So if a regular buyer were to want, you're trying to sell it to a regular buyer, you can just sell it to them as is, and you wouldn't have to worry about that. The second thing with this for selling your house for cash, uh, quick closings. So a normal buyer, or your traditional buyer, they will take anywhere from 45 to 60 days to close a real estate transaction. Just because they have to jump through all the hoops with the banks and stuff like that. But when you sell it for cash, you won't have to worry about that because you don't have to jump through all those hoops. Normally, home buying companies in the area, especially here in Reno, they can usually typically close anywhere between 7 and 30 days. Some vary, just because it might take either a hard money lender or something like that to get the funds to them relatively quickly. But in any case, it's much shorter than selling to a traditional home buyer. The third thing is there's zero fees or commissions with it, and sometimes the cash buyers will even pay your closing costs and delinquent taxes if you have them, so on and so forth. So that that puts a little bit more money into your pocket. You won't have to pay a real estate commission uh, when you sell the house. Say for example, your typical real estate agent closing, you'll have to typically pay roughly 6% after everything's all said and done. So if you sell your house for $300,000, you're going to have to pay $18,000 just for commissions, both buyer and seller for the real estate agents. All right, so the cons to selling your house for cash. I'm not biased or anything, but I looked and looked and looked, and I could only find two that I could possibly, think of right off the top of my head. Plus, everything that I could find only warranted really one. So the only real con to it is, yes, a lower sales price. So with your typical real estate transaction, with a typical buyer, if you sell it with a real estate agent and stuff like that, you're going to have a much higher sales price, which as you should with that. But unfortunately, with a cash offer, or not cash offer, but when you're selling your house for cash, you're going to have a little bit lower sales price just because you're sacrificing the price for speed and convenience. And if that's your thing, if you can wait 3 to 6 months or even longer with this selling it with a real estate agent, great. But if you can't because of your situation, like you have a foreclosure, you own a vacant house, you inherited a house, whatever the situation may be, and you need to get rid of your house quickly, that might mean having to sacrifice a little bit on the price. But that's to be expected. I mean, you wouldn't go to when you're trying to sell your car, you wouldn't take it to a dealership and expect them to pay full market value for your car, even if it is in excellent condition. um, it's just because they're going to take your car and then turn around and sell it to someone else for a profit. Same with a real estate investor or home buying company, so on and so forth. They're going to do almost the exact same thing, except they're not going to give you a very low offer. I mean, there are some people out here that will try and give you a low ball offer, and you might think it's a low ball offer, but most people they give you an offer of what they can pay. Anyway, the second one that I could find was there are a possibility of scams. Yes, when you sell it with a real estate investor or to an investor, you might run into a possibility of a scam. just because anyone can, slap on a tag that says, hey, I'm a real estate investor, or hey, I'm a cash buyer, stuff like that. But what you want to do to avoid scams is just basically, vet your home buying company that you're gonna go with, and check the references, check testimonials, check to make sure the BBB accredited, so on and so forth. Uh, of course, just do your research on that, on them, to make sure that you're not going to, completely get screwed over in the whole transaction. So those are the pros and cons um, of selling your house for cash. I wish I could come up with more cons for you. If you have any more cons that you can possibly think of, go ahead and comment below this video, or shoot me an email or whatever, so that way I can get better inform you about selling, giving the pros and cons of selling your house for cash. Anyway, like I said, just make sure you do your research, and trust your gut on something. If it sounds too good to be true, and there's it's just way over the top of what someone's going to do for you, it probably is. So just make sure you do do your best to use your best judgment on things. So other than that, you guys have yourself a great day, and take care.